Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to dive into a topic that, let's be honest, can be a little stressful for a lot of people: the Cognitive Abilities Test, or the CAT4. If you've ever heard of this exam and wondered what it's all about, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break it all down and demystify it together.
And yeah, daunting can feel like an understatement, right? For so many students and parents, there's a ton of pressure around this test, and it is so easy to feel overwhelmed. If that sounds like you, just know you are definitely not alone. But the good news is, once you understand it, we can turn all that anxiety into confidence.
So to do that, we first need to know what we're actually looking at. We're going to start by breaking down the absolute basics of the CAT4: what it is, what it's trying to measure, and how the thing actually works. Okay, so this is maybe the most important thing to get about the CAT4. It's what's called a computer adaptive test. What does that mean? Well, it means it's not a one-size-fits-all exam. The questions literally change based on your answers. So if you get one right, the next one might get a little trickier. If you get one wrong, it adjusts to find the right level for you. The whole point is to get a super accurate picture of your abilities. So what kind of abilities is it looking for? The CAT4 really focuses on three key areas. First up, you've got verbal reasoning. Basically, how well you think with words. Then there's nonverbal reasoning. That's all about solving problems using shapes and patterns. And finally, mathematical reasoning, your ability to think with numbers. Together, these give a really broad picture of a student's potential. And here's the key. It's not testing what you know, it's testing your thinking skills. And how much time do you get to show off those skills? The whole thing takes about 2 hours. Now that might sound like a lot, but it's actually broken up into smaller, timed sections. It feels a lot more like a series of quick sprints than one long, grueling marathon. All right, enough with the theory. Let's see what these questions actually look like. You know, the best way to make this test less scary is to just try it out. We're going to walk through a few examples, and I want you to see if you can solve them before I give you the answer. You ready? Let's do this. Our first stop is verbal classification. The goal here is simple. You've got 3 words that are all in the same group, and you have to find the one word from the options that also belongs in that group. It's all about finding that shared connection. Okay, here we go. The words are industrious, productive, and diligent. Now look at the options. Which one of those belongs with the first 3? Okay, here we go. The words are industrious, productive, and diligent. Now look at the options. Which one of those belongs with the first three? Take a second and think it over. And the answer is C, hardworking. Makes sense, right? Industrious, productive, and diligent all describe someone who's dedicated and puts in a lot of effort. Hardworking fits right in there perfectly. If you got that one, awesome job. All right, next up we have verbal analogies. For these, you've got to figure out the relationship between the first two words and then use that same logic to complete the second pair. So our analogy is vows is to wedding as words is to what? Think about it. What is the connection between vows and a wedding? Vows are a formal, important part of a wedding. So what is a similar kind of context for words? The answer here is E, dialogue. And the logic goes like this. Vows are the formal, spoken building blocks of a wedding ceremony. In the same way, words are the essential building blocks of a dialogue. It's all about seeing that part-to-whole relationship. Okay, let's switch gears from words over to numbers with a number analogy. The idea is exactly the same. We're hunting for a pattern. And seriously, don't let the numbers scare you. It's usually more about simple logic than some crazy hard calculation. Here's our problem. The first pair is 12 goes to 2. The second is 84 goes to 14. Can you see the pattern there? Once you have it, just apply that same rule to 66 to find the missing number. If you picked B, 11, you are spot on. The pattern is just dividing the first number by 6. So 12 divided by 6 is 2. 84 divided by 6 is 14. So of course, 66 divided by 6 gives you 11. See? Once you spot the pattern, it all just clicks into place. So now that we've actually tried a few questions, that whole daunting feeling is probably starting to fade a little, huh? Understanding the test is step one, but the real secret to crushing it is practice. So let's talk about the smartest way to get ready and turn this challenge into something totally doable. So how do you practice for a test like this in a way that actually works? Well, one of the best ways is to use a platform that's built for it, like Quizzz. The idea is to stop just reading about the test and start doing it, Get your hands dirty in a place that feels like the real thing. A tool like this gives you a few massive advantages. First, you get an online web simulator, so when you sit down for the real test, it feels totally familiar. There's also a mobile app, which is awesome because you can practice literally anywhere. And maybe most importantly, you get access to a huge bank of practice questions. We're talking over 276 of them, so you can really sharpen your skills on the exact types of problems you're going to see. At the end of the day, it really all comes down to this, taking control of your own prep. With the right tools and a little bit of practice, a test that seems huge and scary becomes just another challenge you can overcome. Having the freedom to practice whenever and wherever you want, well, that's how you build real confidence. So now you know what the test is, and you have a path to get ready. The next step is all yours.